Millions of people over 60 wake up feeling stiff, tired, and immediately reach for a morning cup of coffee that might actually be working against them. If you struggle with heavy brain fog that lingers until noon, unpredictable blood sugar fluctuations, or that quiet, persistent aching in your joints every morning, pay close attention. The wellness industry wants you to buy expensive supplements and complex digestive powders, but what they rarely mention is that a powerful way to support your body's natural anti-inflammatory response costs less than 10 cents, and it's likely sitting in your spice cabinet right now. When combined correctly with your coffee, this simple ingredient, the clove, can help ease digestion and support steadier energy within just a few days. Imagine starting your morning without that heavy, bloated feeling. But here is the catch. You are probably using this spice, and your coffee, completely wrong. Today, we are ranking the top 3 ways to use this combination, from a common habit that destroys all the benefits, to the number 1 precise method that unlocks its full potential. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to turn your morning coffee from a routine habit into a powerful tool that supports your digestion, stabilizes your energy, and helps manage that daily morning stiffness. But before we get to the exact method, we need to talk about what is actually happening inside your body right now. After the age of 60, your body's internal environment fundamentally changes. Your digestive system slows down, your gut lining becomes more sensitive, and your body's natural ability to manage everyday oxidative stress and systemic inflammation naturally declines. And this is exactly why you might wake up with joints that feel like rusted hinges, or why a meal that used to digest perfectly fine now leaves you feeling heavy, gassy, and bloated for hours. If you mention these struggles, common advice usually tells you to buy a handful of expensive supplements, cut out coffee completely, or simply accept these changes as a normal part of getting older. While medical care is always the priority, this generic advice often misses a crucial piece of the wellness puzzle: food synergy. Coffee is not just a caffeine delivery system, it is actually one of the richest sources of polyphenols, specifically chlorogenic acid, in the modern diet. And meanwhile, clove contains a potent compound called eugenol, which is widely studied for its natural antioxidant and soothing properties. When these two are combined properly, evidence suggests they may work together to support a healthier inflammatory response, relax the digestive tract, and help your body maintain a steadier rhythm. But there is a catch. Most people completely destroy these benefits by using the wrong additives, or they prepare the clove in a way that extracts absolutely zero value. Today, we are going to look at the 3 most common ways people combine coffee and clove. We will start from a popular mistake that does more harm than good, and work our way up to the number 1 precise method that actually unlocks their full potential. Let's start with the most common way people try to incorporate this spice into their morning routine, and exactly why it almost guarantees you will see 0 changes in how your body feels. We call this the drop and stir method, and it sits at the very bottom of our ranking. This happens when you brew your regular cup of coffee, drop a single, intact whole clove right into the hot liquid, and then stir in your usual splash of milk, sweet creamer, or a spoonful of sugar to smooth out the bitter taste. Because the coffee suddenly smells incredible and has that comforting, warm aroma, it is easy to assume your body is absorbing all those powerful antioxidants. People naturally believe that just having the spice floating in the cup is enough to unlock the health benefits. But here is what most people do not realize. Clove is an incredibly dense, almost wood-like spice. Eugenol, the active compound studied for its ability to help soothe digestion and support a healthy inflammatory response, is locked tightly inside that hard outer shell. Simply dropping a whole, undamaged clove into already brewed coffee does not provide enough sustained heat or physical breakdown to extract the eugenol into the water. You are getting a very pleasant scent, but biologically, you are extracting almost zero value. The real problem starts when you add the milk and sugar. Evidence suggests that casein, a primary protein found in cow's milk, can bind to the polyphenols, like chlorogenic acid, in your coffee. This binding process can significantly block your gut's ability to absorb these beneficial compounds. Furthermore, if you are adding refined sugar or sugary syrups, you are creating a rapid blood glucose spike. If your goal is to reduce that heavy morning brain fog, ease the quiet stiffness in your joints, and stabilize your daily energy, starting your day with an inflammatory sugar spike completely cancels out the mild benefits of the coffee itself. You are no longer drinking a health-supporting beverage. You are just drinking a morning dessert. A warning: if you already struggle with morning bloating, acid reflux, or a sensitive stomach, drinking sweetened, dairy-heavy coffee can often trigger more discomfort, and a floating whole clove will not reverse that. Score: 1 out of 10. This method is a waste of a good spice and a missed opportunity for your health. But what if you drink your coffee black? And instead of just dropping the clove in, you crush it first. Now we are getting somewhere. This brings us to our second option. It is much faster, it yields noticeably better results, but it still leaves a massive amount of potential trapped inside the spice. Let's look at the quick crush method and why it might be your best option for a busy morning. Now we are getting somewhere. If you drink your coffee black, but are always rushing out the door, this next method is a massive upgrade from simply dropping a whole clove into your cup. Welcome to the quick crush, our number 2 ranked method. And to understand why this works better, you need to understand the physical structure of the spice. Eugenol, the powerful compound we are trying to extract, is locked tightly inside the clove's hard exterior. By taking the flat side of a knife or using a mortar and pestle to firmly crush a single clove before adding it to your hot coffee, you physically break down those rigid plant cell walls. When that crushed spice hits the hot, freshly brewed coffee, a portion of its essential oils is rapidly released. While we cannot guarantee exact extraction percentages without laboratory testing, this method undeniably infuses your drink with significantly more of the compounds that may help support a healthy inflammatory response and ease minor morning bloating. But here is what most people do not realize. Steeping a lightly crushed clove for just 3 minutes in a mug of coffee that is rapidly cooling down simply does not provide enough sustained heat to extract the full spectrum of its beneficial properties. You are still leaving a lot of potential health support trapped at the bottom of your cup. The correct method: take 1 whole clove and crush it thoroughly. Drop the crushed pieces into a freshly brewed cup of hot black coffee. Let it steep for exactly 3 to 5 minutes to allow the oils to mix with the water. Then drink it slowly while it is still warm. Warning: be very careful not to swallow the sharp, crushed bits of the clove, as they can be highly irritating to your throat and stomach lining. And just like our previous mistake, adding dairy milk or refined sugar will immediately begin to bind to and block the very polyphenols you are trying to absorb. Score: we give the quick crush a solid 7 out of 10. It costs pennies, takes only 10 extra seconds, and is a fantastic compromise for a busy weekday morning. But the next one is where the results may become much harder to ignore. The number 1 option is based on how herbalists have prepared tough roots and spices for centuries. It does something neither of the first 2 methods can do, maximizing the extraction of eugenol without destroying the delicate chlorogenic acid in your coffee. If you want the full potential of this daily habit to support your joints, energy, and digestion, you need to know how to unlock it with precision heat. Welcome to the top tier. If you want to stop guessing and start truly supporting your body's natural resilience, this is the gold standard. We call this the precision decoction method, and it is the absolute number 1 way to unlock the powerful synergy between coffee and clove. To understand why this is so much more effective than crushing or simply dropping the spice into your cup, we have to look at how traditional herbalists have prepared dense roots and spices for centuries. They understood that heat is a tool, but it must be used correctly. When you brew coffee, the water passes through the grounds very quickly. That is enough time to extract the caffeine and the chlorogenic acid, but it is not nearly enough time to break down the tough, woody fibers of a whole clove. The decoction method solves this by creating a highly concentrated, eugenol-rich base before the coffee is even introduced. By gently simmering the cloves in water first, you are giving the heat enough time to melt away the rigid plant cell walls, drawing out the maximum amount of soothing essential oils into the water itself. Then, you use that infused water to brew your coffee. When you do this, you create a seamless merging of two potent antioxidants. The eugenol from this clove and the polyphenols from the coffee do not fight each other. Evidence suggests they may work together to support a calmer digestive tract, promote healthier blood flow, and provide robust support against the daily oxidative stress that leads to morning joint stiffness. Here is the exact protocol to get it right. Step 1. Take 3 whole dried cloves. Do not use powdered clove, as the essential oils have often evaporated and degraded long before it reaches your kitchen. Step 2. Place the 3 cloves into a small pot with about 10 to 12 ounces of fresh water. Step 3. Bring the water to a light boil, then immediately lower the heat to a gentle simmer. This step is critical. Let it simmer slowly for exactly 5 minutes. Step 4. Turn off the heat and strain the cloves out of the water. Do not leave them in. Step 5. Use this warm, fragrant clove water to brew your black coffee however you normally make it, whether that is a drip machine, a French press, or a pour-over. Drink this slowly, preferably on an empty stomach if your digestion tolerates black coffee, or shortly after a light, healthy breakfast. When extracted this thoroughly, many people notice a distinct difference in how the coffee feels. Instead of a harsh, anxious caffeine spike, the eugenol gently interacts with your system, which may help provide a smoother, steadier mental clarity. Furthermore, the concentrated carminative properties of the clove are fully active, which can significantly help ease the feeling of heavy morning bloating. Score: 10 out of 10. It costs pennies, takes just 5 extra minutes of your morning, and respects the true biological potential of the ingredients. However, because this method extracts the compounds so efficiently, it creates a much stronger beverage than the first 2 methods. And that brings us to a crucial warning. If you are going to use the decoction method every day, you cannot ignore how these powerful natural compounds interact with modern medicine. And if you are over 60, there is a high chance you are taking a medication that could make this daily habit dangerous if you are not careful. But before you start simmering cloves every morning, we need to talk about the mistakes that can turn this helpful habit into a massive waste of time. Or worse, a potential risk to your health. First, let's talk about the additives. If you take your perfectly brewed clove decoction and immediately pour in processed, artificially flavored creamers or a heavy dose of refined sugar, you are neutralizing the benefits. A sudden sugar spike creates the exact systemic inflammation you are trying to calm, and the artificial ingredients in many commercial creamers can disrupt your gut lining. Keep it black, or use a tiny amount of natural fat like coconut oil if you absolutely must. Second, remember that more is never better. Do not assume that boiling 10 cloves will give you faster results than boiling 3. Eugenol is a highly concentrated compound, and consuming too much can actually cause gastrointestinal distress, nausea, or irritate your mouth and throat. Stick to the protocol: 3 whole cloves, maximum, once per day. Now, for the most critical warning. Eugenol has a mild, natural anticoagulant effect, meaning it can lightly thin the blood. If you are currently taking prescription blood thinners like warfarin, high-dose aspirin, or any medication for cardiovascular issues, you absolutely must talk to your doctor before adding a daily clove decoction to your routine. Combining them could inadvertently increase your risk of bleeding or bruising. Additionally, if you suffer from active stomach ulcers, severe gastritis, or chronic acid reflux, coffee itself can aggressively irritate your stomach lining. Adding clove will not magically fix a severe coffee intolerance. Do not ignore your body's signals, and never stop taking your prescribed medications just because you are trying a new natural remedy. And please remember this: if you have chest pain, sudden weakness, trouble breathing, blood in your stool or urine, sudden vision loss, severe abdominal pain, confusion, or severe swelling, do not try to fix it with food or supplements. Seek medical help immediately. When done safely and correctly, this daily habit can be incredibly supportive, but you have to know how to properly integrate it into your week to actually see the changes. Now that you understand the exact methods and the critical safety warnings, how do you actually build this into a routine that supports your body long-term? It is not about doing everything at once. It is about choosing the right approach for your lifestyle and sticking with it. For your daily foundation, the precision decoction method, simmering 3 whole unground cloves for exactly 5 minutes before brewing your coffee, should be your primary choice. It provides the most efficient extraction of eugenol, creating a powerful synergy with the coffee's natural polyphenols without destroying them. Make this your standard morning habit, preferably consumed black, before or during a light breakfast. However, we know life gets busy. If you are rushing out the door and don't have time to boil water, use the quick crush method as your alternative. Simply crush a single clove and steep it in your freshly brewed black coffee for 3 to 5 minutes. You do not need to do both methods in the same day. If you prefer to rotate your routine, you can use the decoction method 3 or 4 times a week when you have more time, and the quick method on your busier days. Pick one and stay consistent. When you implement this correctly, here is a realistic timeline of what you might experience. Within the first 24 to 48 hours, some people may notice small comfort changes, particularly a soothing effect on digestion and a reduction in that heavy, bloated feeling after eating. Within 3 days, you may begin noticing patterns in your daily energy. The jittery anxiety often associated with regular black coffee may begin to level out into a steadier, more focused alertness. And within 1 week, routine consistency becomes easier to evaluate. This is when the combined antioxidant support may begin to help your body naturally manage daily oxidative stress, potentially making morning joint stiffness feel a little less restrictive. Within 2 weeks, you may notice whether this habit is actively helping you maintain a healthier, more comfortable baseline throughout the day. Within 30 days, review your symptom journal and discuss any meaningful changes with your doctor if needed. But here is the most important rule. You cannot do this for 3 days and expect permanent results. This is a daily habit. Your body requires continuous, gentle support to manage the natural metabolic changes that happen after 60. And always remember, if you take medication or have a medical condition, talk to your doctor before making changes to your daily routine. If you've been waking up feeling heavy, stiff, or exhausted, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. Getting older does not automatically mean you have to accept constant discomfort as your new normal. Often, the issue is not your age. It is simply that your diet, your daily routine, or your nutritional toolkit may need an adjustment. Your body is incredibly resilient and still working hard to keep you healthy, but it needs the right ingredients and the right signals to do its job. When we rely on processed foods, sugary creamers, or simply use the wrong preparation methods, we accidentally block the very compounds our body desperately needs. By making one small, precise adjustment to a habit you already have, you can provide your system with the natural support it craves. That is why I am challenging you to try the 30-day Clove and Coffee Challenge. Starting tomorrow morning, before you take your first sip, Write down exactly how you feel. Rate your morning joint stiffness, your brain fog, and your post-breakfast bloating on a scale from 1 to 10. Then, commit to the precision decoction method, or the quick crush method if you are short on time, every single morning for the next 30 days. After a month, look back at your journal and compare your scores. If your symptoms are severe or persistent, always discuss these changes with a medical professional. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor before changing your diet, supplements, medication, or health routine. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below telling us which method you are going to try tomorrow morning. And also share this video with a friend or a family member over 60 who drinks coffee every day. It might be the simplest, most valuable thing you do for them this week. Your energy matters. Your mobility matters. Your independence matters. Let's support your health, one consistent habit at a time.